coming for the Pelicans. Trey Murphy has a hamstring injury, plus Jordan Hawkins showing out at day 3 of Pelicans camp. We're going to talk CJ McCollum. We're going to talk a little Brandon Ingram. And what we're hearing so far in Nashville, we got Chaz, we got Chris, and we got 5. Let's do it.
First took away. That's the best. Get your money's worth now.
Smash that like button, presented to you by Scott Vicknair Injury Law Firm. If you've been injured in any kind of accident, car, truck, 18-wheeler, or hurt offshore, give them a call at 504-500-1111 for a free consultation. Yes, a free consultation. That was fight for the win. So some tough news coming out of Nashville tonight. Today. Trey Murphy with the hamstring strain. Don't know the severity of it yet, but they said will be reevaluated in 3 weeks. What's going on, game? Chris, we'll start with you. Initial thoughts, right? Because this is now the second year in a row Trey's been injured coming into the season. Obviously, he had the meniscus last year. He has the hamstring this year. Something you're worried about? Or, I mean, like, you know, it sucks. Hamstring injuries are always scary, but I guess give me your initial thoughts. We'll go Chris, Chaz, and 5.
Well, I mean, I hate anytime somebody in a situation where they're trying to secure a bag, trying to secure security, additional, a max-like deal, all different conversations in regards to Trey leading up to today and having this kind of setback with, I mean, the season starts at the end of the month, so that's one side of it, right? We don't know how this impacts the conversations. I mean, it shouldn't much, but you never know. And for Trey, also, he got hurt last year. It wasn't directly right around this time, but it was close.
It was a month. It was like maybe middle of September, I think it was, maybe early September, somewhere around there.
Yeah. So, him having to deal with back-to-back off seasons or back-to-back training camps or, just situations where he's not going to be able to start the season. Like if he's able to start the season this year, he's going to be, kind of playing, behind the 8 ball. So for someone like him that has so much potential, that is hell-bent on starting, that is hell-bent on really showing what he can do at another level, it just sucks that he has to kind of, now we know for sure that you coming off the bench one way or another. And then, with hamstrings, you never know, man. They could linger for a little bit, but I guess, I could say that, it's of course not as serious as the meniscus injury last year. You just hope that, he has a quick and speedy recovery and can hurry up and get back on the floor and get things done. That's
the biggest thing you said, Chris, is like hamstring injuries are tricky and you never want to rush back, right? You never want to have a setback with a hamstring. You want to make sure it's fully healthy, fully healed. So obviously, tough news for Trey and hoping a quick recovery, but go ahead, Chaz, initial thoughts.
Well, as for a person who didn't have much to look forward to this season, that's one less thing. So, hope first and foremost, I hope he's okay. Hope the family's okay. Good people over there. Shout out to the Murphys. Secondly, I'm a bit, I took a little time away to think about it. It's like, it's not that, I don't think it's that big of a deal considering where we are in the off season. If it had to happen at any point, I'm glad it's happening now, right? I wish it never happened, but if it had to happen, I'm glad it's now because if I want to be optimistic about it, I see Trey returning during that homestand. What up, Shane? What up, Rachel? What up, everybody? Shout out to everybody.
Yeah, what's up, guys, in the chat? I saw you tweet that, Chaz. Go ahead with that. It was right after the West Coast trip. I think we have like 5 home games in a row.
Right. Yeah. Like 5 home games in a row. Starting on October 23rd, you got the Bulls, Blazers twice, Warriors twice. That's on the road for that West Coast trip.
Yeah.
Then, the openers against the Bulls actually at home. But then, you come back against the Magic, got the Nets. Who was it? Hawks, Thunder. I think Pacers. So. My advice to Trey would be to request a trade. and I'm not even, I wish I was joking. I do. It's like, bro, just Look, man, first time, you in a relationship, first time your girl say something to you that it just went a little too far. You can't take it back. Some stuff you just can't take back. You got injured twice. They don't want to start you. They playing with your money. And let me tell you about me. I play about a lot of things. But I don't play about my money. So they playing about your money. They're not respecting your mind. Just leave, bro. Save yourself, brother. And look, this is the Pelican, the Pelicans, I'm from New Orleans. I want to see you succeed here, brother. But look at Zion. Look at him.
Do you think this hurts contract negotiations with Trey? Because we were talking about that in the group chat today. Do you think this hurts at all?
It's a shrewd business, man. But that's why you got agents, because you got two sides of the coin. First side being you just gave Jose Alvarado a player option. You don't even give player options out, right? Then you got, Herb took a discount, and you got the other side of it being Brandon wants max money. He wants big time max money, and he's not budging. So I don't think the agent lost any leverage. Honestly, it's mainly about if Trey wants to hurry up and secure his future and go from there. But I think that player option with Jose is going to affect negotiations more than it's being let on.
Interesting. Go ahead, Jarrett.
To keep it funky, I think Griff is in a peculiar situation right now. He has an opportunity to build a bridge with Trey that he hasn't done yet. Trey has been pushed aside many times, right? From his rookie season to the sophomore season, right? You can talk about with the Garrett Temple. We can talk about Josh Richardson being played over here, Devontae Graham, in essence. Like multiple times, Trey has been looked over. Last year, he got injured, tried to rush back because the team was failing. And then he didn't play well for a while, but he felt like he needed to be back to give them some kind of space that they didn't have, right? All because like he wanted to be there for the team. Griff talks about family. He talks about how this organization takes care of his own. That you gave Jose a bag. If anybody has earned it, it's Trey Murphy. And that's my opinion. Like this isn't like coming from anywhere else. I think he has her. Like this is the guy that's going to be on an Olympic team. I see. Like if you want somebody that can be super charismatic, right? Good in front of a camera, even when he's upset, he can speak to the media and don't put you down. Like I like Zion. I like Zion a lot. If he's mad, he's mad. He's upset. When he's in a good mood, he's in a good mood. Trey, he's the person you want speaking to the media. This is the player you want speaking at children engagements, and that's the person you want representing your team. If it's him or Brandon, and I watched that earlier interview or the other day with him and DeJounte, him and DeJounte, like, and you see, it's like, well, is that the guy I really want as the face of my team? I like Brandon a lot, but it's not. It's just not. And if I'm playing that game, I think I should, throw Trey a bone here. Pause.
So you're saying here with Griff, it's an interesting point, 5, that he can like kind of make amends here and be like, all right, I know you're hurt, but I believe, like we're investing in you. I believe in you. This whole organization believes in you. Whether you're injured, whether you're not, we know you're gonna work your ass off. That's a really good point, 5.
Imagine being given something and like they didn't have to do it, right? The organization technically didn't have to do it. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, I'm injured. I definitely didn't, at this point didn't have the leverage to do so, and they still held it down. I think that goes a long way of mending fences. Sorry.
That's a good point. Chris, you have any thoughts on that, Chaz? I didn't even think about it like that. It's actually a really good point.
Chris, you had any? Okay.
You mute, bro.
Yeah, you muted.
My bad. No, I mean, I think if everything that you say about being a family and building a culture, if that's genuine and that's real, 5 is right. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, and
We live in a
I
real
kind of
world.
know, where business, these things, business cold, man. And I
Cold.
hope you're right, five, because it's not like Trey a scrub. Trey's a
Oh.
really good player that has the
Yeah.
has the potential to be great. And we're talking about a situation where maybe you might catch him at a real interesting time right now with having these conversations, So with what he got until October 21st for them to agree to an extension,
Yeah.
like that's that's what 3 weeks away, 2 weeks away. Like yeah, I mean, I think I'll learn a lot more about this situation, this organization, and the relationship that's at play if they don't get a deal done right now. No, business isn't supposed to be nice. It's not supposed to. It ain't fair, to be real. I mean, the game's a game. But if what you preach and what you want, would we get in trouble for it? because the belief and the facade is that everything is all love and compassion and everybody love everybody, and they everybody got great relationships and they friends and they family and they all of this. Then family, when you down, family takes care of each other in situations like this. But because I don't believe that that's the case, and we know it, I don't think it should impact it at all. But that's a really good point by Five.
Really good point. Yeah, go ahead, Chaz.
One thing I want to add, because this happened a lot. Something like this happened last year. Like, remember when the Pelicans kind of just went on that hot streak for a little while, and this was before like the in-season tournament really happened, before the Lakers thing, pre in-season tournament championship or whatever semi. And I kept saying, fundamentally, nothing has changed because it's already too late. I think with this situation, I think the answers are still the answers. Like this past offseason, I think we spoke about it on the last show. It's like, well, truthfully, you got to be looking to move on from CJ and Brandon. The way the cap is going now, like in the future, you got to even when you look at what the Timberwolves just did, it was like, yeah, Cat, you hurt to lose them, but you have to what the statement they put out made a ton of sense when they said, we're trying to build a competitive team moving forward. We already know who Anthony Edwards is. We already know who Rudy Gobert is. We know who Divincenzo is. We know who Julius Randle is. We know who Naz Reid is. Naz Reid's also an upcoming free agent. They need the capability to surround these, guys with real deal NBA caliber players and role players in a West that's not going to get any less competitive moving forward. And I think that's why I think the answers are still relatively the same. I don't really know if there's another 6'10" 3-point shooting athletic wing out there, who you could just get, who's still on his rookie contract for another couple of, another year or so. So I think the answers are still the same. What you don't want though is the trade to feel like you're kicking the Whites down. Because that always hurts in the long end. People like that's it's fucked up, So we'll see.
Man, go ahead, Five. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I've been reading this book, right? It's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and it talks about win-win situations, right? You don't want people go in with the win-lose mentality. The other person's going to feel slighted, and the relationship's still going to falter, no matter if they got something out of it or not. You want a situation where it's win-win. That's what you should be going for if you're Griff. Do not go in there trying to shit on Trey when he's already down. He's been through enough. Whether you want to admit to it or not, in your role in that, I think this goes a long way into mending that fence. I'm agreeing with Chris because I'm gonna be able to tell a lot about Griff, about how he handles this situation. I mean, we kind of already know, but this one is almost like the nail in the coffin. Like, all right, it's a dog eat dog world. Just let me know you're a dog. It is what it is.
I write these talking points every show. Just like what Jarrett, what you brought up, what y'all brought up, just Griff. This is up to you, man. This is such an easy answer to do. You really want to take care of family. You preach all this stuff. No. Let's see it. Because if not, we've been literally breaking down your press conferences and going through all the bullshit. you really want to say we're family and you want to take care of, like, this is the opportunity right here. And Jared, I didn't even think about that because it's a great point. And also I think Willie's job got a lot easier now, right? With him out, like he's gonna have to come off the bench. Like Chris, you bring that up, like it kind of like I was actually fascinated to see where they were gonna go with it. But do you think that now it goes back to last year, Chris, with like, all right, Trey Murphy's gonna start off the bench for the next 30 games and eventually get into the starting lineup, or do you think this will just he's gonna be coming off the bench no matter what?
No, I think he's fucked now. Like in all honesty, because there's no, like when we talk about him starting, I think now he needs either the team to be bad and be in a situation where they're struggling and saying we got to change something. We need a spark.
Can I cut you?
Or-
can I stop you one real quick? Because if they are bad and they're off to a bad start, do you even think Willie Green makes it through that bad start?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Because bad is like that's all about perspective. Like if they could be 2 games under 500 in the Western Conference, that could be hell. And Trey, and at some point, then you could be looking like, all right, we need to spark the star lineup ain't working, which we talked about already. All right, Trey, it's your time now. So it's that part, and then I think the other side is that like I think this period of training camp where they're trying to figure out some things again, they're trying to they're running these different lineups, whatever.
Crazy.
It was perfect. Everything that he had said, everything that that he had been working for was perfect for him to be like, okay, I'm clearly the starter. I added, we saw the comment about him adding weight versus coming back from an injury. I mean, what if the team is playing good? They're not going to change anything. If they're average, so you either need the team to suck or them making a move. I think ultimately for it to happen. I mean, even if he was playing out of his mind coming off the bench, the Pelicans ain't gonna be the team to think like, we need this dude started. No, they gonna continue to make I would say the easier decision. That's keeping him off the bench. So that's another reason that this sucks right now, because I just don't see, barring a trade, barring injury, a way for him to climb back up to the starting lineup unless we're talking later in the season, playoffs, that type. He's gonna need a lot more time now, I think.
I actually, truthfully, that press conference with not press conference, the post practice interview with CJ and Trey, it really told me a lot. And I felt like Trey was doomed in either way. I felt like he had no chance of starting. And it wasn't because of how CJ answered the question. It was because, I'm gonna keep it $1. You was asking the wrong person. You're asking the wrong person. So the answer is replace the person who wasn't a problem with a new person. It was like, no, you replace the problem. You don't remove shooting from the lineup and just replace it with shooting. You add more shooting to the lineup. So that's why I just thought the discussion in general was kind of like, come on, man. Now, in fairness, you ain't about to ask Brandon in this situation. It's like, dog, I ain't got my money. I can't play how I want to play. Like Brandon probably that's when violence starts to come into the equation. Like he might flash out at that point. Well, but so I understand it, but I didn't think he had really, I think that might be more of an issue than the money. I think that's gonna end up being more of an issue than the money, because it's like, not only am I not starting, I don't even have a lane to start. There's nowhere for me to start at. So, man,
and the worst part is I just deleted that video because I wanted to talk about the CJ, because I want to hear y'all's thoughts on that, because I did the 5-minute video yesterday about the CJ McCollum thing. But that's my next talking point. I want to hear y'all's thoughts, but I want to get to 5 here before we move on. Is okay? So Trey's out for whatever. We'll just say a month. I don't know. We just don't know yet.
I got 5 weeks.
5 weeks. Okay, just say 5 weeks. Dr. Chaz. We'll say 5. Why do I feel like you have a white coat over there? Like you got like one of those white coats there?
Jared, sources, man. Sources.
So, Jared, who steps up? Who's the guy that steps up?
I mean, you hope for. I mean, without Nye, it's open, right? I would hope we're going to probably talk about Jordan Hawkins, right?
That was I was going to lead into my
Yeah.
next point, but someone had mentioned, well, Jordan Hawkins doesn't play the same position. I'm like, no, he doesn't play the same position.
But
Shout out Keel, it's
to-
Keel, but it's
to Chaz's point, you don't replace like shooting goes with shooting. Like you need shooting.
exactly that's
And-
what was my point. You
Skill
need
set,
shooter,
not
like,
the
yeah,
actual position.
I don't give a
Yeah.
shit. It's exactly what I said. I don't give a shit about the position. I give a shit about the shooting and the scoring coming off the bench. Who's going to replace that?
Well, that's the thing. The Pelicans don't give a shit about position either, right? Like they don't give a
Obviously.
obviously they don't give a shit about position. Right? Like, so I mean,
That's
you
true.
need somebody to be able to shoot the ball. The skill matters more than the dimensions of a person, right? Like I think a guy like Jordan Hawkins, apparently he didn't miss, or he barely missed in the practice the other night, which is a good sign. But also, I really want to know what else did he do, right? Like what other skills did he bring to practice? Because the last time we saw him was Summer League, and he didn't look great. He had some good shooting performances, but we already knew you can shoot. But what other things did he add to his game? And I think that's going to be the biggest thing that helped him. Willie Green talked about in his media day press conference, saying he wanted Jordan Hawkins to compete like hell. Yeah, I want to know what that looks like. As much strife that I've given Willie Green over the years, I think he's right in that. I want to see what Jordan Hawkins brings to the table. I really want to know what other things he's developed. And potentially he's that guy that can help, get them over the, hump pause as they tend to move forward without Trey Murphy at this time while he's injured.
Yeah. Is my internet good? Am I lagging at all or no?
No, you good.
Nah,
Yeah,
mine
sorry.
lagging. We good.
You might
Everybody
be
good.
lagging, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm like either way. So we'll go Chris and Chaz because report stage. By the way, welcome back, Andrew Lopez. Good to see Andrew Lopez back. So glad that he's back. But they were saying today that Jordan Hawkins last night was impressive. Didn't miss. Was shooting the hell out of the basketball. Chris, then Chaz, like, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, look at it's when we've talked about Jordan Hawkins over the offseason, and it's been like, where's he gonna fit? Where's he gonna play? You added another guard, and it's like, it's just something about his mentality, man. I think it might have been you or somebody in here posted a video. I think it was Jordan post one of the practices, either day one or day two, and the first thing that you see, man, is just mentality, man. Like he just has a stubborn mentality and a confidence that's there to where I don't think he's going to allow his career to fail. And that doesn't mean that it's ultimately going to flourish with New Orleans. It doesn't mean that, any of that, but he's going to find a way. So I'm not surprised when you tell me that, he didn't look all that impressive in summer league, but he's out in training camp and he looks ready to go. That doesn't surprise me. And I think Trey Murphy going down is one of those blessings in disguises for him, because Pelicans have a log jam at forward, even without Trey. You got Brandon, you have Herb, you have Zion, you got even Javante. Like they have a decent amount of forwards that are all going to require to play. And then you look at the styles that they're talking about playing in small ball. Those dudes are going to see a lot of time on the floor. So now who's going to play guard? And it's, you got CJ, you got DeJounte, but now Jose and Jordan, it's a little bit more clearer for him. And he automatically becomes your second best shooter now. It's too easy now for him. But my question with Jordan and with this organization period is that I don't care about when it's an easy call to make. When you bring in Matt Ryan because you're down 3-4 players, whatever it is, and you gotta throw somebody in there off the bench. What happens when Trey is back? What happens when everybody's healthy? Do you go away from that because you're stubborn and you want to run Javante Green into the ground? Or do you stay with him and continue to let him build with what he showed you he can do when you were lacking? Added talent should only help the dude. Added talent returning should only help and make his responsibilities less crazy. They got to stick with it.
I'm glad you said that, Chris. Forget the chat stuff. Look, I'm hoping Jordan. I'm a big Hawk guy. Like I think he's like I think his ceiling is very high. Like I think he's a great scorer. Was it big Hawk guy?
Nah,
It was on the line. Yeah, I was just saying. I think he brings a certain skill set and like a scoring off the bench in which this team really hasn't had in a long time, right? Because when he gets going, right, like he can really score the ball, and I think he can. We think of him as a shooter, but Jarrett, like we've like watched a lot of film, like he's more than a shooter, man. He's got a little mid range. He's got some hops. He can finish. I'd like to see him get to the free throw line a little bit more. Go ahead, Five.
Before I pass it to Chaz, Chris, you said something like for him to get on the floor. And I think this move, like with Najee being gone, allows a little bit more of a gap for him to, be placed in as a guard. But he has to be able to dribble the basketball.
Yeah,
like he has to be able to dribble through pressure and create. Okay. If he doesn't, then it minimizes, not saying minimizes his skill set, but minimizes the offerings. Because I think to Willie's defense, he needs a guy to be more than just one dimensional. He can't just go ahead.
Go into detail a little bit more about that, about what you mean when you talk about him dribbling, because we look at him as an off guard, right? So people don't think, oh, he's not handling the basketball, so why? So he shouldn't focus on that. What, explain with what his strengths are, like what you mean and what he has to be able to be better handling the ball.
Especially at his size, right? He's like 6'4", probably 6'3", 6'2", but his ability to dribble the basketball through pressure, right? Remember the playoff series where they had to play Jose Alvarado, but just because they didn't have a guy to dribble the basketball. Like, I don't think people really understand how important bringing the ball up the court in a quick amount of time, right? Because sometimes you give the ball to CJ McCollum and he barely getting over 17. You're late in your progressions of getting into your offense. Like, you need people to understand that at a very high level and get people to basketball and still be aggressive to get your shot. That's why I think it's super important. Keeping guys on your hip, being able to, screen and roll, get people to right basketball, just making the right basketball plays. This isn't something he's never seen before. I'm pretty sure he's learned something like this at the Mathis or at UConn. But right now, as a professional, he has to be able to advance that skill, and that will open up his game more. If you want to be more like Steph Curry, you got to be able to dribble the basketball.
And Jarrett, like that was a good answer because it was very evident his rookie season, like what we had to work on. It was, and then it was just right there in summer league. If he hasn't improved just a little bit, I'll be pretty disappointed in that because I completely agree with that. And one thing before we get to Chaz, one word, Chris, back to like your original point, and I think y'all agree he's delusional. I think Lito and Jared have talked about he's just delusional. And as a basketball player, it's a great thing to have. Like he's got full confidence. I see people in the chat saying confidence. He's got full confidence in his game. I just want to see this coaching staff. If he's got a bad game or two bad games in a row, don't just quit on him. Let him get like 2 or 3 weeks under his belt. Let's see if he can get into a rhythm and see what, if he can take off that. But go ahead, Chaz.
Well, I'm glad he's delusional because I'm not. Somebody said this. It was either like Malcolm X or Bruce Lee, but it was like boards don't hit back. I don't care what he's doing. Look, I've seen you in games. I know you're going. I don't care what he's doing in training camp. I don't care what nobody's doing in training camp. I know that this man is going to have very little room for error.
That's my problem.
It's going to be
my problem.
And the thing that's going to keep him on the floor, I think if he does this, it'll be hard to take him out the game. Got to rebound.
Bro, he's one of the best rebounders on the team.
Exactly.
Y'all think I'm crazy. Y'all think I'm crazy for saying that. He's one of the go watch. No, not y'all. Not y'all.
Don't worry about that. Chaz, it was Bruce Lee, but
it was either Malcolm X or Bruce Lee.
That's a crazy rating.
What? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was Enter the Dragon. Yeah, good movie. Y'all check that out. But
the fact that you knew what movie that came from, dog.
Oh, Enter the Dragon, that's a classic.
It is, but like,
rest in peace, Jim Kelly. But man. Hawk. I feel like, to Justin's point, I feel like he's a really good rebounder, especially for his size. Has the tenacity to really attack the defensive board. I think that and his effort defensively will keep him on the floor. I think with some teams they'll say, coaches they'll say, he's a shooter, he's gonna find his shot. But in the meantime, you have to be able to do those other things. You can't just die on screens. One of the more disappointing things I think with Hawkins that he didn't really come in a little heavier. And that's like, because like I'm trying to help you get on the floor.
Who's it? Amani Bates, like put on like 25, 30 pounds or something crazy. I'm like,
yeah, that's
shit.
I don't want to ask too many questions about that.
He about to get that call.
You about to get the drug test, yeah.
Right
I don't want to ask too many questions about that. But it's like the last time we saw you, you were playing a role you weren't necessarily comfortable with. You asked to play the point guard. And handles, that's something that's going to come over time. But the things that he's really good at right now, rebounding, he has a high motor. You know what I'm saying? Again, he's not afraid to shoot, moves off ball, plays with good pace. I think those are things that give him a chance. Now, do I believe he'll get every opportunity to fail? No. I feel like he's battling two beasts right now. I think he's up against a guy like Javante, who's right there. You got Kane, that's right there. And it's going to be a skill set thing. It's going to be know-how and skill set. Then we still haven't really gotten to how some minutes are going to be staggered, because you saw this a lot last year. You gotta kind of let Brandon get his, because we got agendas here. Like, you know what I'm saying? People trying to get paid, people trying to get traded, how the minutes going to get staggered. So,
That's such a good point, Chaz, because one of the best lineups, especially for Jordan Hawkins last year, the backcourt was with Dyson Daniels. You put him with an elite defender. If you put Hawkins with a Jose, like, I don't know, like, I'm just saying, like, that's just a recipe for disaster. You have to stagger Hawkins minutes. It's a good point, Chaz, with a guy like maybe like a DeJounte or a better defender. Like, man, it's gonna be tough. That's going to be tough.
Take into account right now, I think we kind of know at this point, Herb might be coming off the bench too. So maybe he'll be with Herb. But
I didn't think about, but you have Herb as the one, or like, I didn't think about
it's going to be Jose. So you got Jose,
Hawk, Herb.
Well, let's go with we know going to be out in the second unit, right? Jose, Herb, right? Javante Green.
Hawkins,
I don't know. I that's the thing. I don't know
right now.
Pencil him in, but I think
how do you just not pencil him in? I get the Javante Green thing. How do you not pencil in? He's a lottery pick. You got to pencil him in. Give him some fucking run room. Like, you got to give him a runway just to see what he can do.
I agree.
Just to see what he can do. You can't just put him at the end of the bench.
Man. It really, and not only who's coming off the not only who he's paired with, coming off the bench, you got to think, like, what parents are they gonna like to start the second quarter with him that are in the starting lineup? So who's gonna be the first and second sub out? Will it be you're gonna have a guard with him, but will he start us? Let's say Hawk starts the second quarter. Is he going to be sharing time with DeJounte? Do you think it's more imperative to share time with CJ McCollum?
I would say Herb, definitely not CJ. You got to be Herb.
Well, I mean, Herb will probably be out there, but I'm talking about a point guard. I mean, you think Herb's going to actually run the point? I know he can.
Brother, we don't have a center. Like, anything can happen at this point.
Well, that's the thing. Like, how I keep saying they got a gluttony of guards. Am I frozen?
You back now.
You're back.
How I keep saying, like, they got like a gluttony of guards. They really have too many, because for that second unit, I would want Herb running the offense and orchestrating the offense.
100%.
But we know, like, Jose contributes to winning, so you can't justify not playing him. But you also got this first round pick who is dropping 30 fucking points. And like, so how do you justify not playing him
against the Western Conference champs? Like,
come on, man.
It's man. There was a moment. Say, why don't y'all go watch Carlo? Why don't y'all go watch Carlo defend Zion Williamson? That will tell you everything y'all need to see about Carlo. Like, it is what, like, bro.
Gobert can't defend Zion though, so we gotta be fair with that. We gotta be a little fair.
Okay. I get it. But like, he got this high off the ground. I mean, his chin was into Zion's shoulder. Like, there was no, like, straight hands up. Like, it was bad positioning. Pause. Like, it's just like, I think you might have had the comment chair. Like that's probably like his 7th foul.
Oh, man.
Like his 7th foul. Like I don't know. Hey, maybe I'm being too hard on the guy. I mean, I know we gotta be nice and everything. So let's talk
Yeah.
about CJ McCollum, presented to you by Company Bear, located at 4600 Ferret Street. So y'all want to talk about? I damn deleted the video. I didn't mean to do it, but Chris, we'll go Chris, Jarrett, and then Chaz. Back to what Chaz was saying, Chris. After day 2, CJ was asked a question and by Juan Kincaid and said, "Whatever it takes to win." He talks about coming off the bench or starting. Whatever it takes to win. I'm not going to volunteer to come off the bench, but if that's what the coach wants to do, that's what he wants to do. What are your initial thoughts, I guess, on that quote? And then obviously it changes now, but interested to hear your thoughts on that.
I'm a professional, and I like my job, but coming off the bench for who? That's what I look at. Like, no, I'm not. I'm not at the point in my career, and this team has improved that they're at a point as a franchise to where I need to be coming off the bench. But if I'm told to do it, I am a professional. I mean, CJ, man, you got to make it make sense to CJ. Like, you are going to have to put together a full plan that has different stages and it has different points of emphasis and different reasons as to why. You almost got to put together a thesis. Like I mean, you're gonna have to. That's the kind of individual but competitor CJ is. That's one of the things we lose. Like, no, I know CJ a nice guy. Like, and he has a winery and president, PA and everything, and that's fine, man. But CJ is a real deal competitor. Like, he does hit a different switch when he's on the floor. Nobody that's wired like him most of the time wants to come off the bench, and not after. Like, he gotta, he's gonna say, like, I've sacrificed enough, and I ain't even been here that long. Get some of these other motherfuckers to sacrifice. I'm not the problem. Now we get to a point to where it's clear where this team can use me in a different like, I'm hurting the team being in the starting lineup, whether it be for defensive purposes or I'm doing too much with the basketball. Then yeah, okay, cool. But again, man, that, like, the only thing I can make anybody that dreams of him volunteering, and we said this all through the offseason, the only person I could think of recently was Russell Westbrook last season. But Russell was a part of a Clippers team that had championship expectations. They were championship level or bust. He made that move, and he was the adult in the room. Of course, the Pelicans not what the Clippers were. Like, they're not what the Clippers are as a franchise, and his team ain't that level yet to where, well, I'll go ahead and make that sacrifice. I get it, and I mean, I think he would ultimately do it, and he would probably make the best of it. But you tell me why it would make sense for him to want to do it. You can make basketball sense of it, but you tell me if you him, why?
Like, I completely agree with you. I mean, he had a career year. He was one of the best shooters in the league. Like, literally, statistically, one of the best shooters in the league. Go ahead, Five.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate. If I'm him, I'm volunteering to come off the bench. Yeah, man. Nah, you talk.
I know exactly what you're gonna say.
Yeah. If you talk about coming up with a PowerPoint deck or some sort of slideshow, like, I'm telling CJ, this will be the easiest 20 points per game you'd score in your entire career. If you want to do it for an 11th year, come off the bench. Like, we saw the lineups when it was just him and Jonas and a couple of shooters out there, even at the beginning of the season last year. Like, it was hell to pay. Like, CJ got to do whatever the hell he wanted. He just needed Jose to dribble the ball up. He got the playoff ball. He had no responsibilities but to just score. He didn't have to get everybody involved. He just had to make a play. And I think with the starting unit, it just required so much. Brandon needs to get going first. Zion needs to get touches. I'm just here to hoop. And at this stage in CJ's career, like, man, I just want to put shots up. I want to be in a corner, somebody else making plays for me rather than the latter. Like, this would be such an easy thing for him, a beneficial thing, right? For CJ's career, I think he probably win the first award. No, he won most improved once. That's what the award was. This would be his next award. Maybe, just maybe, he make an all-star team by being the best bench player in the league.
Yeah, I thought about that too. Go ahead, Chaz.
I think, see, the most troubling thing I took away from media day, and even now, I feel like there's still no established goal. I feel like, what's the goal? If the goal is, all right, we're moving forward with building around Zion, cool. All right, you have one advanced creator on, I'm gonna say the roster right now, that being Zion and Trey, because of the distance Trey can shoot from. But let's stay in the starting lineup. You have in the presumed starting lineup, Zion is the only advantage creator. By removing CJ from the starting lineup, I have to presume you're going to insert Herb into the starting lineup. You remove some of the advantage that Zion would have had via not having space and having CJ's probably not going to be asked to do much ball handling in the starting lineup, but one less guy who can kind of create something out of nothing. And even like with earlier in the show, that's why I even thought like them saying it being a Trey or CJ thing. I'm sure the question came because, it's a topic of discussion you have to ask, but I feel like you're just asking the wrong people. It should be Trey, CJ, Zion, and DeJounte, and who's the last person? That's in my opinion, that's who it should be. And one of the things I think you're gonna run into with CJ coming up with the second is the inevitable role change. Because what's gonna end up happening is that starting unit is gonna shit the bed. It's gonna be like, well, CJ, we want to put CJ back out in the starting unit, so we get some more experience out there, add a little bit more shooting, and it's like that's what make the Trey injury so bad because it's already another ready-made excuse. Oh, all right, well, we didn't have a center. Well, we didn't have our best shooter. Well, we didn't have this. Like it's another ready-made excuse, and it's just, man, it's unbelievable. it's unbelievable.
But Vaughn, like this comment's kind of crazy to me. Is like he's a really, really good regular season player. In order to make the playoffs, he got to be really good in the regular season. I mean, look, I understand people's opinions of wanting to bench or having CJ go to the bench, and I think Jared absolutely nailed it with that because he can blitz second teams. He can blitz second units. I completely agree with that. But to say we go to the bench as a playoff liability, like that doesn't make sense. Like he's top 5 in the NBA in 3-point percentage, catch and shoot, 3-point attempts. Like this is who you want. Like that's what you want in today's game.
Man, didn't CJ have like 40 in a closeout game when he was in Portland? Like, let's pump the brakes, dog. Like this dude nice. Like
he's one of the best players to ever play for the fucking organization. Like, do we realize this? Like, or is this insane to say? But like, he's one of the best players to ever play for the franchise ever.
Let me ask y'all this, because I do think this is the most important question, because I feel like whoever this person is probably the de facto 6 man. Who's subbed out first?
Zion, because it makes sense, right?
Oh God, I think that's terrible. Because to me, I think Brandon should be the first sub out because it makes sense everywhere. He can put up as many shots as he wants. He can go against second units. He can get paid somewhere that he gets traded to. Yep. It just makes sense. But it's gonna be Zion.
It should be Brandon. It should be Brandon.
If it's Zion again, like that would be crazy. Like
it should
be. They don't got trade to sub in for Zion though, so that's a thing.
But maybe they throw a curveball and just sub in Jordan Hawkins for Zion or something crazy, like just something out of control.
Who you say, Five?
That's a really good point. No, I would say that's a really good point, though, Chaz, because like you got to think like Brandon got to be thinking, okay, not only, I'm sure he wants to win, but right now his highest priority has to be money and has to be the security. And one of the better ways to do that is whether or not you're 100% impacting and the starting lineups look great with you on the floor. If you put up numbers and the team just winning based off of how strong they are or how good the talent is, you are going to benefit regardless. So being in a situation where you still get to start, even if you're the first person that, I mean, he ain't dumb. He's seen how well the team has, the type of rhythms that they get into when he's not on the floor and Zion is. So you get a chance to have those lineups, get some of these other guys in, whether it be Herb or so on and so forth, take a breather. And then what we were talking about possibly CJ doing, not only can Brandon feast on second units, he can probably do them exactly the way he wants to, which means I may not have to shoot as many threes. When I'm in the starting lineup, I got to shoot them. But when I'm coming off the bench and Zion out and this person out, I can operate right where I want to.
This is my
game. I'm back to doing what I want to do.
What'd you say, Five?
Go ahead.
See?
A shot swallow.
See, this is what y'all do, bro. Y'all do this all the time. But then I'm gonna have to be like Chaz. I'm gonna have to remind y'all. Y'all know who the coach is? Y'all know who the coach is? He was just saying Brandon Ingram came back. He just wasn't fitting in. He was dominating. He was
dominating.
That's what he said. So I mean, I agree with y'all, yes, but that's not. We know logic does not work with this team. We know this.
Who's the first two then?
Huh?
Let's say it is Zion. Zion and who? Well,
Zion and the
Zion Tice. Yeah, it's automatic. It's automatic. Whoever plays at center. And
oh god,
if you sub out
Carlo and
your entire front court is
we gotta stop saying Carlo's name right now. Like we really gotta get out of this habit here of if Carlo's playing.
He's the second center on the roster.
It doesn't matter. I don't care.
Eves and Hawkins. That's better.
You covered. Nope.
Oh, it got to be Herb probably. So Herb
crazy.
and Hawkins.
But you said something crazier too. The first coming off the bench, is Herb's on the bench.
Yeah.
In this scenario, Herb's on the bench.
Herb
and Jose.
We've been talking about this team a lot, and we can't even have defined roles.
Herb and Jose. Zion goes to the 5, and then you can sub in to begin the second quarter.
So Zion and Brandon on the floor at the same time.
Zion, Hawk, Herb, DeJounte, CJ. What the fuck? That's crazy.
That's the whole thought unit. Like that's a fucked up line.
Well, guess what, bro? Wait, dog, you can't tell me Carlos coming in the first 6 minutes of the game. You can't.
No, I'm not saying he should.
Sorry, I'm not being nice. I understand. But
I'm not saying he should. I'm just saying if Zion's coming out, right? I think Javonte Green is the sub for Zion.
Trey Jefferson, I'm sorry, Chad. Trey Jefferson's on the red team right now. Okay, there's a blue team, there's a white team, there's a red team. Okay, he's on the red team right now. Okay?
He's on the red team too.
Yeah, just watch the highlights that come out. But go ahead, Chaz. I'm sorry.
But not it's on the white team, Carlo. But I mean, second string.
Fuck,
second
I didn't even think of.
But yeah, man. I think it's gonna if Zion's the first sub out, I think it's gonna be Javonte coming in. I think you would probably see Hawk sub for CJ. And the question is who's going to get the staggered minutes? I think the staggered minutes should go to Brandon. I think Brandon should be the first sub out.
Yeah, I don't think yeah, that's fine. I don't mind. That depends, right? Like I guess it doesn't depend.
Without Trey, we're really only talking about one.
Dude, missing Trey's a brutal. Like it's a problem.
It's definitely a problem. But I'm trying to think now. We were talking about two really good players coming off the bench before when Trey's healthy. Now
it was just Herb and now it's just Herb potentially.
So now it's just Herb.
Yeah.
I know the Pelicans beat the Sacramento Kings 6 times last year. I understand. But day one of Kings camp, Mike Brown came out and said, I know we got DeMar DeRozan, but Keon Ellis is still starting. They already knew what the fuck they were doing off rip.
That's real coaching right there.
That's what he said?
Hey, Jarrett, then your tweet about JJ Redick today? Your tweet about JJ Redick today?
I love that.
Like he confirmed. I mean, I don't know if it's over DeMar. I'm pretty sure they figure out a way to get DeMar started. Maybe he takes Keegan's spot. I don't know. But
damn,
you know what I'm saying? Like the fact that he already knew, he established it already. Like there's no, like just to have that, You know, that level, like I think what Chaz always alludes to, like, what's the goal here? Like, what we doing here? We just gonna keep figuring out. Like, you guys haven't earned the right to figure it out. You have done no figuring of it out in the last 5 years. Like,
and that, you know, that's the craziest part too, because it's like y'all act like y'all got all these options. Like, it ain't like, remember, I'm trying to think who the fuck was it? It was like, remember when the Kings had like 3 or 4 centers, and they was like, we got
Alex Len days.
Yeah, it's like we got all these guys. It was like, bro, or even when the 76ers they had Noel, they had Okafor, it's like, bro, the other 2 dudes not good. Put Joel Embiid in the game. Like, you ain't got the options you think you have. So Yves Missi is probably not a real option. Like, he, you know, Carlo, respect to him, you know, I still got my Carlo stock, but he's probably not a real option at this stage.
At this stage, like he still hasn't played an NBA minute. There's just so many learning curves and things like you have to like just get to in order to play at the NBA level. Like we're going off of a summer league game.
So I'm assuming Justin's not a Carlo crazy.
No, like
not you.
I like Carlo. Like I want to see him succeed, but I'm just like trying to be realistic. If Carlo's gonna be our first sub off the bench, like I think it's unfair to Carlo.
And
I think it's unfair to Carlo.
What is also unfair to Carlo, we don't have a staff to develop him, right? Like no one's even talking about this. Like we've missed on a lot of centers, like with athleticism and potential, and we have yet to develop something to be like, okay, we can make that guy into an NBA player because we did it with X. No, you didn't. So what is going to tell me that that's going to happen?
I don't know, man. Or I really don't know. I don't know.
Who knows less about basketball than Jackson Hayes? And you expect, and I mean, even if you say, well, he wants to learn, okay, but you're not in I'm trying to develop something stage right now. You need something that's ready to go.
Yeah.
And that's why I think, I don't know, man, you know, since we got barred from the media room, I think
it wasn't my fault.
I think it's interesting. I feel like they must have just came out and told everybody, look, don't ask me about no goals this season. I don't know if I've ever seen a press conference where the championship playoffs, none of this came up at all. It's like we all just going with the flow. Like it's crazy.
To be honest, that's what someone in the comments say. Like Chris is probably gonna roll his eyes here, but I would take Trey Jemison right now over Carlo. And there it is. I would. Why the side, Chris? Because you haven't seen. I've seen Trey Jemison play in an NBA game. You have not seen Carlo play in an NBA game.
You just told me that Trey Jemison was in a red shirt, and you know what that is? Those are all the people that are going to be applying for security jobs or be playing in the G League once this damn training camp in Nashville is over with. Those people lock the doors, put the chains on the doors, open up, mop and sweep the floor when all the players are off the damn court.
I know we're going back and forth here, but let me ask this: what's the one thing you want your center to do? What's the one thing you want him to do on this team? What's the one thing you want him to do?
I want him to rebound.
Rebound. Can Trey Jemison rebound basketball?
If he can get off the floor, he can box out. I give him that. He can box out, set solid screens. He just runs like a video game character. Like it's just
flight. Like I know, bro. I know he looked good. It's a G League basketball game. Okay. I'm sorry, it's not a G League basketball. It's a summer league basketball game. Like I know he played well. We did a show on it. He played well. This does not mean that he's NBA ready and that he should be your backup center. That's all I'm trying to say. I always appreciate you and your comments.
Do y'all think we have anyone on the roster currently at the 5 that's better than Check Diallo? No, I'm not being funny.
Yeah.
Y'all think
Tice is better than Diallo?
Tice is better?
I do.
Okay. Well,
I haven't seen Carlo or Missy play.
I was watching Zion versus the Clippers, and Tice was guarding him. Zion, I mean, what's his name? Tice, he looked like he should just go back to Sons of Anarchy. He just didn't have a chance, bro. He just didn't have a chance. I'm like, Tice, I'm trying to understand. And look,
It is tough with Zion.
This is
Zion makes
pre-Ozempic.
Zion makes a lot of people look.
This is pre-Ozempic Zion. So if you didn't have a chance against him, what are you going to do against like the real super athletes? Like, just like Tice, get the fuck out of here, man.
You know, Chaz,
I didn't realize
Carlo.
Tice was 6'7". Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No, Carlo might be the new Tech Diallo.
Yeah,
In a lot of ways, bro.
He's a super athlete.
Whoa, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
We wasted. Sorry, I don't want to say wasted. We took. Was Check a first round pick, or am I crazy?
I think the second round pick.
Maybe second, but before he got injured, you know, he was one of the best like high
Kansas,
school
right?
players in the country.
He went
Yeah,
to
he went to
Kansas.
Kansas.
Yeah, same year he got drafted. The same year Buddy Hill got drafted.
Yeah.
Damn.
All right, let's see.
Buck
Damn.
two, Buddy.
Check Diallo. Man, shout out Check. They played 183 games.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. 5
Check was
points, 4
bad.
rebounds. Check was bad.
I don't know why we just didn't go get Biombo though. Like get Biombo, give him like a bullshit contract. You know, just he's a professional. He knows how to play. You know what I'm saying? He gonna foul the shit out you. He gonna rebound, screen, roll to the rim. I just don't get it, dog. Like I just don't get it. Why didn't you? Like why didn't you just go get a wily old veteran who had at least a foot and a toe in the league and not 1 foot totally out in Germany's finest, Tice.
Germany's finest.
All right, so we'll do like 5-10 more minutes. We're not gonna do any questions. Questions today. We got a long day. Shit, I'm not feeling well, but Chris, you were supposed to be off the show like 30 minutes ago, but yet you're still here. So shout out to you. One thing I thought was interesting, Jarrett. There was a report today from Andrew Lopez and Graffinini. James Borrego had to be held back today in practice. Bring a little juice to practice. I fucking love it. I absolutely love it. Allegedly, that's what if you go look at the report from Lopez and
It was fisticuffs?
No, there was, I think he was just trying to get him going. Was animated, said that he was animated. At one point, one of them said he was getting held back.
Oh man, lucky they didn't kick him out the gym.
Yeah, I know. I mean, shit, they are used to kicking people out of the gym. So go ahead,
Man, listen.
yeah, that's gonna be a running joke all year. I can't wait for it.
Oh, we got currency in the building. Shout out to currency.
I think James Borrego understands the importance of training camp, and trying to get his guys into a mental place of, hey, this is serious. This isn't just a joke. We're not just running through drills. We're trying to win here, because people's livelihoods are at stake when you just go through the motions. And I think the last couple of years they probably did so. And what I heard, actually, even in that same kind of clip, he's been leading. Or matter of fact, it was Antonio Daniels and shout out. Oh man, what's the old dude name?
Joe.
Yeah, Joe. Right. They said he was shout out to Joe. He cool. Dude got some crazy stories, bro. Yeah.
Oh man, shout out to JB. Appreciate you, bro.
Shout out to JB. Nah, man. They talked about how James was almost like just giving the keys to the offense, and he was just running the night practice for the offense. I'm like, okay. This kind of goes back to what I said, a couple weeks ago, that Willie Green will have to relinquish those duties, just like we saw Dennis Allen and your man's Kubiak, Clint. Like that's the same kind of feel. Like, hey man, that's what he's good at. Just allow him to be that, and he will help you. Don't put down on your own self by trying to be putting your eggs in all these different baskets and not really taking advantage of what's in front of you. Like, he's an offensive genius. Just let him be offensively genius, and you can kind of learn from him, and everybody will be better for it, not just yourself.
Completely agree, Chris. So this is the second time, Jared, I'm glad you brought that up. So after day 2, Antonio Daniels had said that Antonio Daniels and Joe Myers said that Borrego had like the keys to the offense. It seemed like he had like a moment where he was the coach, right? Today you hear that he's getting held back and he's animated and he's fired up. Like, do you think they're going to start to actually lean in to James Borrego and let him actually run the offense instead of Willie Green this year?
How long will it last?
Probably about as long as Zion and Brandon were working out together in the practice facility.
How long will it last, man? You got to show, like, this is the problem when you don't have structure. Like when you don't have structure and you don't have like long thought out plans, right? Or even goals that we're talking about here, is that you just doing shit on the fly. You're doing shit off of feeling, off of emotion, off of thoughts, off of just, people, off of power, versus we are going to, like, this person, it may not work every night. It's gonna have nights where everything's not clicking, but this gives us the best chance to win. You will see it some nights. I'm more than sure you might even see it to start the season, but they have to show me that they will be consistent with something like this over the course of a year, even when shit gets bad. Even when you like, for me to believe that someone's having the keys. I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, James might have the keys, but Willie got the spare. Like, I mean, at any moment, it can all change again. So I don't like anything else, man. This team, this organization has struggled with consistency. The only thing I feel like that they're consistent about is the dreams that they want to sell people. I want to actually see it play out, whether the team is on a 5-game winning streak or a 5-game losing streak. And then, we can actually have some of these conversations.
Well, so go ahead, Chaz.
I feel like Coach James is gonna come in. He's gonna tell him, turn that jungle music off, and Willie's just gonna crank the radio back up. I think ultimately it's all for naught. Like, seriously, to Chris's point, it's like, look, like Malcolm X said, boards don't hit back. Right? Like I said, boards don't hit back. So again, when the live rounds are flying and defenses start to adjust, how do you handle the pressure? Do you stick with this offense? Can Willie check his ego? Because Willie's coaching for his job. Probably coaching for his job. Brandon's playing for his financial, career, more or less. So it's like, when shit gets crazy, can you handle the pressure? This team just hasn't shown that it can do that necessarily at this point. I don't think they've earned anyone's trust. Also, it's ego, man. Ego is a big part of it. You want to win your way. And it's too many voices in the building.
But do you think like the hot seat has a certain effect on Willie Green? You really don't think so at all, Chaz?
No, because
you make a really good point. I didn't like the Willie Green thing, yes, and then the Brandon thing. Like, I didn't even think about those.
No, I don't think Willie Green, the hot seat, affects him, because I don't think Willie Green has a next level he can ascend to. I don't think it's like, I'm going to give him everything I got. It's like, this is it. Yeah. And the reason I say that, because I look at a guy like Missoula. It's not the best comparison because Missoula's so, great. But like Missoula, the whole season, they were like, you're shooting too many threes and the playoffs is not going to work. The playoffs is not going to work. And the playoffs is not going to work. This shit worked. He had a plan. He stuck to it. He didn't care about Brandon shooting threes. What did he say? Anyone under 40%?
It was the Larry Nance. Yeah, it was the Larry Nance corner threes that they were living with.
Like the things he put in place, the strategies he implements, he drills them to death. He like, this is what's happened. This is going to work because I know it's going to work. I've looked at every possible scenario. And with Willie Green, you're not even confident enough to come out and say who the starting lineup is going to be. Even if it was the wrong decision, make the decision. And you got a war with JB and Willie Green, more or less. You got Griff up there watching like a creep. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna ascend from the Raptors. He's gonna say, hey, why don't you put this player in? Because it's interference everywhere. There's voices everywhere. And it's I just need to see them make it through the controversy and stick with the same principles, and I would be more confident and happy about that.
So hour 5 in, appreciate Chris, Chaz, 5 as always. Appreciate everyone in the comments. Make sure you smash that like button. Definitely helps out the channel. So what we're going to do is take off Friday, Saturday. We will be live Sunday night, 8 p.m. we'll be kind of talking about just recapping everything throughout the week. Then Monday, I think the Pelicans play Monday, if I'm not mistaken.
At 12 at lunchtime.
It's lunchtime at the Smoothie King Center. Is that
Damn. On a Monday?
who the
It's
who-
12:30.
bro? Just like, did they schedule that game because they saw the Saints were playing Monday Night Football and they're like they didn't think just like move it to Tuesday?
Oh,
That might
damn.
be right
I
there.
think I think it had something to do with it. It's just time frame. Like you can't, probably like security wise or something like that.
I can't
Like, they
imagine
have
too
both
many
event-
people would be showing up on a noon on Monday. That should be an interesting.
That is kind of fire though. Like a matinee game on a Monday.
Hey, I'll go get lunch at the Smoothie King Center. I was like,
I'm-
they might kick
Hey,
me out of that one too. I don't know. Hey, fuck, right down the
Oh,
facility,
well.
might as well do the arena too. motherfucker.
Well, Justin, you're gonna have to wait till Tuesday because you gotta eat what the Saints don't eat. So
Ooh. Any chance they win that game?
We did not
Yeah.
talk about that. We did not talk about that.
Tony Allen and the
Tony
leftover.
Allen.
You want to talk about Sunday? We got to talk.
He
Yeah,
also
we
he
got
took
some
he
good-
took it.
Because
he-
Jared, we got some shit we
Yeah.
got to get off. Like we got shit.
We gotta talk about that later.
Yeah, we got some shit
was
to say.
crazy.
That'll be a
Alright.
good one. That'll be a good one. Sunday night special like button. We'll see y'all later.
Peace out, y'all.
Peace.